we're looking at the case where you want to gather secondary data for your project. And so you might choose to collect primary data, that is data of your own sourcing through a survey, through data collection or something else. And you may want to supplement it with secondary data from another source, or you may just use secondary data. It's up to you. If you ask a question that's got something to do with Canada, Statistics Canada has the Cansim database where all the results of censuses and survey are stored. And it's pretty extensive. As you can see, when you land at the Cansim database page, you're given all of these possible categories. Prices and price indexes, look at this, labor, international trade, income and pensions, lots of stuff on agriculture, Aboriginal people, government, and health. And so you could ask questions like, I wonder, is there a relationship between something to do with health and something to do with labor? So potentially you could go into two different categories and look for a correlation, for example. So I've gone into the culture and leisure part of the Cansim database. And once again, I see it's broken down again. And so some of these are fairly general. A lot of them you'll see, like there are 31 tables here in leisure activities and spending, which is quite a lot. Look, this one is government spending on culture. Now, there are really only two sets of years here for government spending on culture here for federal, provincial, and territorial. So maybe there's not so much data in there, but you might be able to find something that you could ask a question about. Also, here we are in a second culture, performing and visual arts section, where they've got a lot of statistics here. Now, if you're interested in one of them, you can go to this section and it says table. And table is basically sort of like a spreadsheet, but really it's a database. And you'll come here. They actually give you options for looking at data. So you can choose what province you want to use. You can also choose what classification it falls into. You can also just choose to download that table. And they'll give you some options here that you might need to work with in order to see what they're like. But when you're done, it's going to download it. You can download it as a CSV file, which will probably open up in Excel on your computer. And so I'm going to download that table and see what it looks like. Okay, there we go. Download the file. It's all ready. I can hardly wait to see what this looks like. Okay, here we go. Excel is opening it. It's comma separated values table. And when Excel reads those, it just turns into a big database. Okay. And then you refuse to let Excel take over your computer. And here is the data that they have in that table. As you can see, there's hardly anything. And so this was a rather fruitless exercise in finding out they don't keep very many statistics on that part of culture and the performing arts. Nonetheless, it does give you an idea how you can find the Cansim database. You can choose a sector that you're interested in to test an hypothesis on. You can further drill down. You can find out how much data there is, and you can download it as an Excel file onto your computer for you to analyze for your final project. And that's it. That is a secondary source of data, Cansim database. Good way to ask an hypothesis.